So hey, what's up guys, this is AK, and you are watching my YouTube channel AKM. So guys, welcome back to a brand new tips and tricks video of PUBG Mobile. Winning gunfights is not only about having better aim. It is about making better decisions before you even start shooting. This is one of the most underrated skills in PUBG Mobile, because most players spend all their time trying to improve their sensitivity, copying control layouts, or changing HUD settings, while ignoring the small habits that decide who survives the fight. That is exactly why so many players still lose fights, even after landing the first bullets. They put themselves in bad positions, they panic under pressure, or they keep making predictable plays that experienced players punish instantly. The good news is that you do not need perfect aim to fix this. A few simple habits can completely change the way you approach every fight. They will help you stay alive longer, make smarter decisions, and win more fights consistently. So let us start with the first habit that separates average players from experienced ones. The first mistake is committing to every fight the moment you see an enemy. Most players spot an opponent, start firing immediately, and keep spraying until either they get the knock or they get eliminated. They feel like backing off means they are playing scared, so they stay exposed for far too long. The problem is that every extra second you remain in the same position makes you easier to punish. The enemy has more time to adjust their aim, their teammates can join the fight, and your advantage disappears very quickly. Instead, think of every gunfight as a series of short engagements. Shoot when you have the advantage, then quickly reposition or move behind cover before exposing yourself again. This forces your opponent to constantly readjust instead of tracking you easily. Imagine you are fighting around a compound. You peek from one side of a wall, land a few bullets, then immediately move to another corner before peeking again. Your enemy keeps aiming at your previous position, while you appear from a completely different angle. Suddenly, the fight becomes much harder for them, even if both of you have similar aim. This simple habit makes your fights more controlled. Instead of relying only on accuracy, you force your opponent to make mistakes while you stay in a safer position. Now let us move on to another mistake that quietly loses countless gunfights. The second mistake is tunnel vision. Many players become so focused on the enemy directly in front of them that they stop paying attention to everything else. They forget about nearby cover, possible flanks, teammate positions, and even the sound of another enemy approaching. This usually happens because players panic once the shooting starts. Their entire attention locks onto the crosshair, and they stop processing everything happening around them. That is dangerous because PUBG Mobile is rarely a simple 1 versus 1 fight. Another player can appear from a different angle at any moment, or the enemy you are fighting can use your lack of awareness to reposition without you noticing. Instead of staring only at your target, keep checking your surroundings between bursts. Listen carefully to footsteps, remember where nearby cover is, and always think about where the next threat could come from. For example, imagine you are fighting behind a rock in Erangel. You damage one enemy, but instead of chasing immediately, you quickly check the left side where his teammate was last seen. That one quick decision prevents you from running straight into a crossfire. Players who maintain awareness make smarter decisions. They survive longer because they understand the whole fight, not just the player they are shooting at. Now for the final habit, and this one can instantly make you much harder to eliminate. The third mistake is becoming too predictable during fights. Many players repeat the same movement every single time. They always peek from the same side, they keep reusing the same piece of cover, or they rush through the exact same doorway after healing. Experienced players notice these patterns almost immediately. Once they know what you are going to do next, they simply prepare their crosshair and wait. The solution is to make your decisions less predictable. Change your timing, use different angles, and avoid repeating the same action twice in a row. Even a small change can completely throw off your opponent's expectations. Imagine you are fighting inside a warehouse. The first time you peek from the left side of a crate. Instead of repeating that move, you wait for a moment, then peek from the opposite side. Your enemy is already aiming at your previous angle, giving you a valuable advantage before the fight even begins. This habit improves your consistency because you stop giving free information to your opponents. Every fight becomes more difficult for them, while you stay one step ahead. So remember these 3 habits. Do not stay exposed after every peek. Keep your awareness on the entire fight instead of only your crosshair. And never become predictable by repeating the same movements over and over again. These habits may seem simple, but together they completely change the way you approach gunfights. You will make fewer mistakes, survive more difficult situations, and start winning fights that you would normally lose. Over time, that consistency is what separates experienced players from everyone else. So guys, that was all for today's video. If you found this video helpful, make sure to leave a like and subscribe for more PUBG Mobile tips, aiming guides, movement tutorials, and practical gameplay advice that will help you improve faster. Hit the subscribe button and turn on notifications. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.